So this is in the very end, but I want to you to have some experience on graphics programming in C, and I had some experience in graphics programming in my school in basic, and I liked it a lot. So I found this library called Tiny Graphics Library, which I want to use. So for this, you need to install a local C compiler, and Node.js is for installing the Tiny Graphics Library package, as well as some other packages. And you want to have a code editor, Git setup, so that you can create some repositories. And FFmpeg is for converting videos or audio to from one format to another. So we will do all that. Let me first start with let's first start with this C compiler. So for C compiler, we were trying to install Visual Studio. Some of you have already installed it. Those who have not installed it, I'm going to show it now. You can go to, you can search for Visual Studio Community. Here, are you able to see the screen? You should be able to. Here you find Visual Studio Community version. There's also an insider version. You can use that, but this is good. So you download it. You will get a setup. Once you get a setup, you can install it. That will install the Visual Studio installer. So this setup, when you run it, it will install the Visual Studio installer. And then, since I have already installed it, I will just open it, Visual Studio installer. So this will allow you to install multiple programming languages. I have installed 2022. Current version is 2025, I think. So what you need to do is you need to like, this is the installer. Now you need to select what you want to install, because Visual Studio is consists of many different. Basically, it is an IDE with the compiler for various programming languages. We want to install C++ compiler. So this is what I have selected: desktop development with C++. As you can see, you can build modern C++ apps or C apps, which includes Microsoft Visual C Compiler, CLang, CMake, and MSBuild. You want to install CLang, and CLang is optional. So once you select this, on the right, you need to select optional features. You go to optional features. Here, there will be C++ CLang tools for Windows. So that is what you need to select. Any other things that you want to have, you can have. C++ modules is like updated. So in C++ 2023, they added support for modules. If you want that, you can install. Otherwise, we want the CLang tools for sure. So then after that, you can select install here. For since it is installed for me, I will close it. Okay, and that is C compiler done. You can install this. Okay, C compiler actually. So the next step is, we actually, by this time you would have installed the C compiler. Once it is done, you need to go to C drive, program files, Microsoft Visual Studio. For me, it's 2022 community. There, Visual C and tools. LLVM is the LLVM project has the CLang compiler. So we'll go to LLVM bin. And here you will see there is the CLang compiler. It is given CLang debugger, CLang compiler, C++ compiler. Both are the same. C are identical. So what we want to do is, we want to add this folder to the path environment variable, so we can access it from the terminal. So I'll empty the recycle bin. Then we will go to PC properties, environment variables, where it is. Change environment, edit environment variables. You can system properties, environment variables. We will modify the environment variables. So for path, so we want to add the LLVM project CLang compiler to the path variable, the path of that directory. So we'll edit it. So you can here you can select new, and you can paste it. For me, it is already added. So C program files, community, VC tools, LLVM. So you can create new, and you can add it here. So new, paste it, and then okay. Right. So you can add it here. Okay. After you've added, you can open a terminal. Once it is added, you will be able to use CLang. So if you use CLang, we are able to run the CLang program. And because there are no input files, there is an error. If you also have GCC, it is fine. I don't have GCC. Either CLang or GCC is fine. So the first step is complete. We now have a C compiler. Next is we want to install Node.js. Node.js is required for installing the packages. So Node.js, I search, can download the long-term support version, which is 24. There is an option for Windows installer, download. Okay, and then it's all just next, next, next. I have already installed it. So it's already installed. Okay, fine, you can install it. Once Node.js is installed, the next step is you can install a code editor such as Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code, this one. Here you can choose anything. I usually choose the system installer x64. Okay, that is done. Code editor is now done. Next step is we want to install Git. So there was some confusion with Git. Let us install Git a bit. Let me install the latest one. Git source control 2.52 download. Okay. So in Git we have some configuration to do so that we can write our own code and upload it to GitHub. So GitHub or Git needs to know what is the name of the user, what is the name of or the email address of the user, and also how to store the login credential of GitHub because it is interacting with GitHub server. So these three things need to be configured. So I think I have 2.52 or which one? Okay, next. So you can select here Git LFS, add Git bash profile to Windows Terminal, and Git add-on to manage large-scale repositories. Remaining are not required. And you want to use the nano editor, override the default branch name to main, which is what GitHub did a few years back, and then use Git and optional Unix tools. So it is convenient for us. We can use some Unix tools from any terminal. You want to use the bundled OpenSSH, anything is fine. You can also use external OpenSSH, it is fine. Use native Windows secure channel library. Check out Windows style. Use Windows default console. We don't want to install MSys2. Fast forward and merge. Next, Git credential manager. Next, enable file system caching and symbolic links. Install. Removing 2.52. Okay. Let us. It is installing. After it installs, you can open a terminal. It's installed. So Git is basically a version control system. So whenever you write a code, you make some changes, it keeps track of the changes. So it is a history. And it's not just a single line of history. You can create branches in that history when you're implementing some feature. Then you can merge that feature on the main branch. And each feature can be implemented independently. So it becomes a branch. And then the branch can be merged into the main branch. So done. You can configure Git to use the username and email address of yours. So git config global user dot name. You can write your name. I'll write my name, and then you can press enter. Then you can configure the email address. Git config global user or email. Done. Once this username and email is configured, any code you commit and upload it to GitHub, it will be coming on your name. And then you need also a like Git needs to save the credentials so that it can communicate with GitHub server. So you ask it to store. So you can ask it to store by configuring credential helper, and ask it to store the credentials. Once that is done, whenever you run a command, git command, it will use these git credentials whenever you push. But for now, this is not required. I just told that if you want to push your changes, then this step is required. Okay, so git is set up, node.js is set up. So now we want to install ffmpeg. Ffmpeg is a tool that is used for translating audio from one format to another. For example, so I will show you can use Node Package Manager. So npm install global. You want to install ffmpeg dot cmd for Windows, and it is dot sh for Linux. So we'll do for cmd for Windows. For me, it is already installed, but it will just reinstall it again. Okay, majority of the steps are complete. The remaining step is writing the code. So I created a Git repository here. TIGR test. So you can create a repository once it is created. So in order to create a repository, you can do something like this. You go to your username, you select new repository, give it a name, something like test, TIGR, right? Okay, test fast TIGR dot c. So testing TIGR quickly. Anyway, here demo. Okay, so visibility, let it be public. No templates and a readme. Git ignore will be, since we'll use Node Package Manager, it will be Node, and license, let it be MIT license, open source license. So create this repository. Okay, let me delete the old repo. Take a test settings. Okay, okay, that is deleted. Now you can go to your repository, copy this URL, open. So what I want to do, I don't want to see releases and packages, so I will hide that. Okay, next is, let us go to the terminal. Okay, it is here. Take a test, so I'm not using this. Terminal. Now I want to git clone the repository URL. So now test fast tigger.c is cloned in your local machine. So that will open. Okay. So it will be having a git ignore file, which is the files that are not to be part of the repository. License file, you can write your name here, and readme file is like details about the repository. Okay, once you did that, you will be able to see that the changed files are highlighted. So now you can push these changes to GitHub. Okay, so one of the ways to push, okay, maybe we can discuss that later. For now, we can ignore that. Now we want to create a C file, main.c. So let us write include CIO. Okay, then main. Okay, okay. So let us try to compile this. Since we have clang installed, we can just write clang main.c. Done. You can see there is a executable file created a.exe. But since we don't want to keep track of a.exe, since it's not a text file, it's a generated file, we will keep it in gitignore. We don't want it to be part of our repositories. Build or generated files is a comment. So start.exe. We want to ignore all executable files. So now it will no longer be green. It is not highlighted anymore. It's not a new file. It is ignored from the repository. So now if we try to run A, we get hello world. Okay, so this is a basic C programming setup is ready in local machine. Now we want to use TIGR. So in order to use TIGR, we have to first initialize the package that we want to install. Once we have to create our own package, initialize our own package, repository package, and then we will install dependencies. So to initialize our own package, we write npm init. What is the name of the package? You can leave the default description. Description you can copy from README. Entry point, let it be main.c. Test command, there's no test command. Exit, git repository. Okay, keywords, let it be test. Figure. Author, I'll write my email. License is MIT. Type is done. Here. So now the package JSON file is created, basically describing our project. Here we can add our dependencies, but we don't need to add it there. We can just write npm install. Now we want to install TIGR. So we'll write tigr.c. Okay, one package installed. Now you can see there's a node modules folder. The node modules folder has tigr.c. So now we will be able to include the header in tigr.c. Let us do that. Hash, this, if I don't use printf, this is not required. So I will not use printf. I will use just tigr. So hash include. It is inside node modules. Then there is tigr.c folder, and then there's tigr.h header file. So that is the TIGR header. Then we want to include the implementation of TIGR as well. So TIGR does implementation does not need to be included in every file. It needs to be included in one file. But since we have only one file, we'll define implementation. So TIGR implementation is made to be part of this executable. Now we will write an example program. So example program will be given here in the TIGR package. So you can go to npmjs.com and then go to tigr.c. Here, this you can see there will be given details about how to use it. And our example program is here. We want to copy this. Since I am not using command line arguments, I don't need it. So keep it simple. So what we are doing here, so we are creating, so basically TIGR is a struct which you read in class. TIGR window, or you should read on your own. And TIGR window is a function that will create a window of size width 320, height 240 pixels with a title called hello and some flags. We will explore what the flags mean. It seems there is TIGR fixed mode where window is made as large as possible to contain integers, keywords, something like that. Anyway, we'll explore this exactly what it is. Title is mentioned that it is an UTF-8 string. Since all ASCII strings are also UTF-8, so just hello will also work. If you want to use some Unicode or characters or emojis, that is also possible, but you need to convert the Unicode emoji to ASCII or UTF-8 format. Since C compiler, I think, won't do it for you. And then while the window is not closed, while the window is not closed or the screen is not closed, clear the screen with this color, then print on the screen with font. Where this font defined? I think this variable is defined globally somewhere, which is why we are able to access it. It must be defined in TIGR header. This may be the default TIGR font. Okay, what at what X position, what Y position, what color should be the color of the text, and then what text we want to print, which is hello world, and then we'll update the screen. So we print it, we update it. I think update, what it does is it displays contents on screen and updates input. Okay. So basically, the way display works is you write something to a buffer, and there is another buffer that is being displayed by the display driver. So you render or draw something onto one buffer, then you swap the buffer. So that buffer that you were writing to is now given to the display driver to show it on the screen, and you get another buffer, and to that buffer you can draw or write some pixels. And that is called double buffering. So I think something similar goes on here. And then once you are done using the screen has been closed. You need to free the resources, just like malloc free. Similarly, you need to call TIGR free to free the resources associated with the screen and return 0. So let us try this. clang main.c. Conflicting types for main. Okay, I think I